This happened when I was 24, around late 2022. At the time, I was living alone in a small one-bedroom apartment in a newer complex outside the city. Nothing fancy, just one of those places built for young professionals. I was working a remote customer support job, mostly evening shifts, so my schedule was pretty consistent. I'd log off around midnight, sometimes a little later, and I almost always ordered food after work. It became a habit. I'd sit on the couch, still half in work mode, scrolling through my phone and ordering whatever was open. Usually the same 2 or 3 places. Burgers, fried chicken, noodles, stuff like that. I used the same delivery app every time. I won't name it, but it was one of the big ones. I remember I'd usually order around 12:30 a.m., sometimes closer to 1 o'clock. I did this almost every night, especially during the winter when it was cold and I didn't want to cook. I lived on the 3rd floor, and the building had a locked main entrance with an intercom. Deliveries were supposed to be left at the lobby table unless you buzzed someone in. At first, nothing about it stood out. The app worked the way it was supposed to. I'd get a notification, go downstairs, grab my food, and that was it. I barely even looked at the courier names. I just cared that the food showed up. I don't remember exactly when I noticed it, but one night I was waiting for my order and saw the courier name on the tracking screen. It was a simple name, something like Daniel. I remember because it was the same name I'd seen the night before. I didn't think much of it. I figured maybe he worked late nights or lived nearby. It didn't seem strange. Over the next couple of weeks, I started seeing the same name more often. Not every night, but a lot. Enough that I noticed. It was always Daniel. Same profile picture too. Just a blurry headshot that could have been anyone. I remember joking to myself that this guy must live in my building or something. The app was busy at night, so I assumed he was just one of many drivers. What really caught my attention was the timing. At some point, my orders started arriving faster than usual. Like, noticeably faster. I'd order from a place that normally took 35 to 45 minutes, and suddenly it was showing up in 20, sometimes even less. I checked the map a few times and saw the courier already nearby before the restaurant even marked the food as ready. Again, I rationalized it. Maybe he was just fast. Maybe the restaurant was closer than I thought. Another thing changed, slowly enough that I didn't react right away. Instead of leaving the food on the lobby table, the bag started appearing closer to the stairwell. Then one night, the food was left right outside the door to the stairwell that led up to my floor. That wasn't normal. I remember standing there with my food in my hands, looking around, thinking maybe the building manager had moved the table or something. The lobby was empty. It was around 1:10 a.m. The floors were quiet like they always were. After that, I started paying more attention. The next few orders from the same courier were left in the same spot, always closer. One night, the bag was sitting at the bottom of the stairs. I remember feeling slightly annoyed more than scared. I thought maybe he didn't want to deal with the table or thought it was more convenient. I considered leaving a note in the app, asking drivers to leave it at the table, but I never did. I didn't want to come off as difficult. Looking back, that was probably stupid. Around this time, I also noticed that the courier name didn't change, even when the app said the driver was on a bike one night and a car the next. I remember thinking that was odd, but again, I brushed it off. I told myself the app probably messed that stuff up. One night, I ordered later than usual. It was closer to 2 a.m. I remember because I checked the time on my microwave after I placed the order. It was 1:58. I ordered from a place that normally closed at 2:30.
When I checked the tracking screen, I saw the same name again. Daniel. I felt that small, tight feeling in my stomach, but I ignored it. That night, the food was marked as delivered, but my phone never buzzed. No intercom call, no knock. I waited a minute, then another. I refreshed the app. It still said, delivered. I figured maybe he left it downstairs again. I put on my hoodie and went out into the hallway. The lights were dim like always, and the place was quiet. When I took the stairs down, the lobby was empty. No food anywhere. I checked the table. Nothing. I walked back upstairs, feeling confused and irritated. I went back into my apartment and checked the app again. The order was gone from the active screen, like normal after delivery. I tried messaging through the app, but it said the order was already completed. I remember standing in my kitchen, phone in my hand, not sure what to do. I assumed someone else might have taken it.
I was about to just make something quick at home when I heard a knock. It wasn't loud, just a couple of soft knocks. At first, I thought it was my neighbor across the hall. Then I realized something felt off. The knock came from the hallway, not the front door area near the elevator. It was closer. Too close. I walked toward my door slowly and looked through the peephole. The hallway light was on, but I couldn't see anyone. The angle didn't show the full space right in front of the door. There was another knock. Same rhythm. Calm, not rushed. I didn't answer. I stood there holding my phone, my heart starting to race. After a few seconds, I heard movement. Not footsteps walking away, but a shift, like someone adjusting their stance. Then my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the delivery app. It just said, "Your order has been delivered." That was when I realized the knock hadn't come from the front entrance of the building. It came from my floor, from the inside hallway. I stayed completely still. I didn't make a sound. After maybe 20 seconds, the knocking stopped. I listened until I couldn't hear anything anymore. No footsteps, no door opening or closing, just silence. I waited a long time before I moved. I don't know how long exactly. My phone screen dimmed twice. Eventually, I locked myself in my bedroom and didn't come out until morning. The next day, I checked the app. The order was still there in my history, but the courier name was gone. It just said, courier. No picture, no name, like it had never been assigned. I contacted support, but they didn't really help. They told me the order was marked as completed and refunded me the money. When I asked about the courier, they said they couldn't share information and suggested I contact building management if I felt unsafe. Nothing else happened after that. I stopped ordering food late at night. I started cooking more, even when I was tired. I moved out of that apartment about 6 months later for unrelated reasons. As far as I know, nothing ever came of it. But I still think about how close that knock was, and how the name just disappeared like it was never there at all.